So I'm going to quickly go through the 4 elements of active listening and explain them. But I'm also going to ask you, I'm also going to ask or assign this as a homework assignment, okay? So let's see if we can bust this out in 5 minutes. This really merits way more than 5 minutes. And typically I assign a role play to this skill set, but this is where I'm going to find the 15 minutes we're missing, I think. If you guys just promise to listen to the audio program and let that be your first. But let's go through it first. Active listening. So fill in the blanks, please. So right where the little arrow is, fill in the words active listening. The first element is attentive body language. The second is verbal attends. The third element are leading questions. And the last is restate. And then put your pens down and we'll just haul butt through this. And then put your pens down so I can gauge. Yeah, that's a pirate seminar. All right. Active listening is the single most effective way to pace another person's need to be valued and understood. Hands down. Active listening is not waiting for our turn to talk, like most of us have been schooled. It is not interrupting the customer to let them know that we know what they're talking about. It's not interrupting the customer to share with them how our product or services satisfies a want or need they just shared with us. It is simply being present without prejudice. There are 4 elements to active listening. Number 1, attentive body language. So you guys tell me, give me some examples of attentive body language.
Hand position, your eye position.
Okay, so hands, by the way, it's okay to have hands.
That's good, because I'm not getting rid of them.
Okay. Give me some other examples of attentive body language, please.
Nodding your head.
Head nods, very good.
Eye contact.
Excellent, but be careful, eye contact, absolutely. But you can always tell when someone just came back from a seminar, they give you this lizard stare. There are some cultures where extended eye contact is disrespectful. So just be mindful of that. Pay attention to what your customer's doing. Give me some other examples.
Smile.
That's the big one. Say it louder.
A smile.
A smile. A smile. When the other person's talking and we smile, it gives them the illusion we are enjoying the discourse. Now, give me some other examples are squaring up, open posture, leaning slightly forward. Give me some examples of inattentive body language.
Crossed arms.
Hands in your pocket.
And see, this is part of the reason why I'm reluctant to put body language up there. So let's take a time out. Body language really is only useful, or it's more accurate, let's put it this way. It's more accurate when we identify clusters of cues. When we focus on just 1 or 2, it has just as much chance to mislead us as guide us.
Yeah.
Okay? Craig is my customer, and he's talking to me. You guys just judge me. Am I into what he has to say, or am I shut off from what he has to say?
Into.
In or out? Yeah, I heard somebody say shut. Okay?
Because they're saying, oh, arms crossed, that's,
And that's the danger, right? Good head nods, good eye contact, I'm smiling, leaning slightly forward. I could just be cold. Okay? Now, am I into or disengaged from what he's saying?
Disengaged. Your feet are pointing a different direction.
and the face.
Okay, you get it?
Down.
I'm 18 degrees, I'm looking down, I'm not smiling, not head nodding. Now there's credence to folding arms, okay? So I'm not discrediting body language, but you can't half do it. There is Alan Pease. Alan Pease wrote a book. If you want to get a little bit more into body language and you want to do it in a retail environment, this is a killer book. It's called, actually the title is forever long. Signals, the dynamic of, I don't know what it is, but it's Signals by Alan, P-E-A-S-E. And it's a very, very intelligently written book of body language in a retail environment application. And it's worth the 19 bucks or whatever. Certainly worth a Google. Verbal attends. Verbal attends are basically grunts. And here's how it works. Okay. Get out. Seriously? Yeah, that makes sense. Just letting the person hear another voice. See, here's what happens. If the other person, in this case our customer, is on a roll and they're talking, which is what we want them to do, we want them to talk about themselves so we can engage and show an interest in them as well. If theirs is the only voice they hear, on a subconscious level, they start to check up. But simply hearing, okay, yep, keep going, it relaxes them and it encourages them to continue to open up and talk. That's verbal attends. Leading questions are simply open-ended questions that does one or two things. Either encourages the person to continue to talk, or lets that person know that you are tracking with them. If what they're sharing with you has a logical sequence, by simply asking a question about the next step in their logic, by asking something about the next step, you're telegraphing to them that you're following them. Okay? But they're always open-ended. And then restate is simply paraphrasing back to the customer what they said to you, for clarification, but also to demonstrate that you value and understand them. The skill of active listening, as I shared with you just a few minutes ago, is the single most effective way to pace someone's need to be valued and understood. Add it to your professional relationship, add it to your personal relationships.